You are listening to the Critical Mass Radio Show, Orange County's business talk show, focused on exploring topics of interest to CEOs who are leading middle market companies. With your host, Ric Franzi.
Hello and welcome to Orange County's longest running business talk show. And yes, I am your host, Ric Franzi. And we have a good show planned for you today. Why do you ask? Because Jenny Zhan is our guest. She is the founder and CEO of Beyond International. Jenny, welcome to the program.
Thank you, Rick. Hi, everyone.
It's good to have you here. I love it when I have a founder such as yourself on the show, because I like to start with the inspiration, maybe the motivation that you had and for starting Beyond International. Could you take us back in time and talk to us about that?
Sure. I was always fascinated with business and have a lot of curiosity how business could be successful. That was the part of the reason brought me to United States. And I was a student, came to US, and although my major was in engineering, and I know, actually it was the business incentives moved the engineering progress. So that's why I always interested in learn how business operated, and that was one of the major reasons prompted me actually eventually working in the investment industry. And with more than 10 years experience in emerging market as an emerging market analyst and then portfolio manager, I had a chance to face CEOs, CFOs, and directly discuss with them about the business. And when I was sitting there 20 years ago, I was saying, okay, someday I got to be like them and starting a business like them. So that's how, gave me the inspiration to be in business.
So since you've launched Beyond International, and we're going to talk about the business and what you do and who you help in a minute, but I'm just wondering, in the early days, did you have any pivots to the business that you can share with us? Any aha moments as you were building the business?
Oh, yeah. Beyond was founded in January 2020. And as you guys can remember, just a couple of weeks later, COVID hits. Mm-hmm. And, business environment was suddenly freeze. And for a young company, it's very challenging. We have to adjust our strategy and to make sure our business can survive first, then thinking about takeoff. That's why initially we were planning to invest directly into a lot of certain projects. We have to change our mind and play conservative and invest in certain fund strategies. But maybe like 6 months, 8 months later, and we saw value emerged. Then we pull out our previous business plan, invested directly in certain multifamily projects. And we did actually helped our investors.
But starting a business right before COVID has to have been a challenging and a little bit stressful time for you, Jenny, because I don't think anybody really thought the world would shut down as dramatically and for as long as it did when we were looking in January of 2020.
Yeah, I didn't expect that. So you have to modify, adjust your business plan. And, I have to appreciate our clients. They supported us and trusted us and encouraged us, to invest in the tough environment. Mm-hmm. And this allows us today to show the track record. And frankly, without their support, without our staff support, I don't think Beyond could survive during that first year.
That's so true. And let's talk about Beyond International. If you could help us to understand what your niche is, who are you addressing? What problems do you solve for them? And talk to us about the ideal type of client that gets the best ROI, if you will, from working with your firm.
I see. Actually, we have two types of clients. One type of clients is provide the money and invest, believe in our methodology and put trust on us. Those are the clients. And during my portfolio manager years, I noticed a lot of stock market up and down. I was a portfolio manager for stock market, but stock market up and down is not suitable for everyone. Just like today, you see a large U-turn today on the market. A lot of investors actually prefer to invest in a relatively stable environment, and they could allow fund manager to focus on, value propositions and execute the business plan instead of being disturbed by market noise and sometimes emotions, exaggerated emotions in the market. So, and this is large group of people we noticed, and we think we should address their concerns. That's why private market and commercial real estate market is a great area for this type of investors. If we can execute properly, it could achieve, equity type, if it could achieve the return actually could match in public market or even better. And so the reduced volatility and will make fund managers and our investors and more comfortable execute our planned returns. And also another type of clients is our investment. And those are, private enterprises. And in the real estate area, a lot of companies during last, a lot of commercial real estate companies has experienced a lot of turmoils in past 4 or 5 years. Initially was COVID, and then was the banking system freezes, and it's very difficult for community bankers to continue to lend them the money. And also then there are technology actually forced them to change. For example, retail shopping centers and office buildings. Because of the business environment has changed, they are forced to change, and they are looking for the capital and help them to going through this kind of change period. But unfortunately, bank was not available for them. And so Beyond, as an investment company, focus on private credit and private equity for commercial real estate, we step in at the right time and help push the change, help them finish their business plan. So this is something we view. I'm glad we can satisfy the interest of our clients on both sides.
Exactly. I'm wondering, from your investment thesis, when you're looking at commercial real estate, is that in a certain geography, or where does Beyond look to invest in commercial real estate?
We're looking for investing in commercial real estate in all North America, especially in U.S. Sunshine States.
Mm-hmm. And why is that?
And the demographic and business environment has changed, lean towards this area. Mm-hmm. And certain states in the United States actually has open arms for business, and the demographic changes and working flows flowing into those states. And the commercial real estate is booming, and they require more capital and allocated to the right area. That's the area we can step in.
Interesting. So you're a survivor, Jenny, launching your company in the front end of COVID, but it sounds like some of the impact that COVID had on at least the banking sector gave you an opportunity to step in and help out
Yes,
people who couldn't get money. So there's two sides to every story, ladies and gentlemen. Nothing's ever totally bad and nothing's ever totally good, especially when you're an
exactly.
entrepreneur and a founder. Love that. I wonder, of all the things you've learned in your professional career, is there a piece of advice that maybe someone gave you that you could pass forward to our audience?
Well, address a big market. When you start business and find your niche, this is something very, I think it's very insightful and impact a lot of my business decisions.
Address a big market. That's
Yes,
that's
like commercial real estate market is a big $1 trillion market.
mm,
And uh, the clients are looking for relatively stable and better risk-adjusted return investment opportunities. Those also a group of people, usually are like high net worth individuals and family office. They're adjustable capitals for this kind of group of people. If it's also in 100 billions, if it's not trillion, so that's also a large market. So that therefore it's a large market. And find our niche. Our niche is we can tailor our the structure design. Structuring is our strength. We have a lot of flexibility, can address the concerns for our clients on both sides, and make sure they're all satisfied. Make sure we can design structure can satisfy on both sides. This is our niche. And we have been in business for 5 years. We actually made a reputation as a problem solver. So we are able to address the concerns on both sides. This is the niche for us.
That's excellent. And I see there is a question that's coming in from one of our listeners on YouTube. They ask, and Jenny, maybe you can answer this. If you can't, that's okay. What part of the U.S., I'll read it to you. What part of the U.S. do you think is more promising for these investments? Do you prefer the West Coast or the East Coast for the investments you're making?
Actually, like I mentioned about, is Sunshine States. The states actually more pro business and see large demographic, large people actually flow into this area, attracts business. Those are the states usually is good for commercial real estate.
And I want to thank you, Lead Generator, for making a comment, asking a question. We encourage our audience that if you want to ask Jenny a question or make a comment, please feel free to post it, and Haley, our producer, will bring it to our attention. They say demographics are your destiny, or is your destiny, I guess. And so you're following that trend, following where the
Following
people
that trend.
It's all supply and demand, isn't it, Jenny?
Yes.
All right. Thank you for that piece of business advice. I really appreciate that. I'd like to shift your focus towards artificial intelligence. And from your perspective, I ask guests all the time, what's your view? How do you see it impacting your industry? And just the general overview of artificial intelligence. Can you share with us your views?
Great. I want to mention about that. In the early 90s, when I received my bachelor degree, my paper was on neural network. When I was engineering students, and this was the foundation for artificial intelligence.
Right.
And it is a big wave, no doubt. Artificial intelligence is getting mature, and it will be on the big stage. And but the issue here, we have to differentiate what is hype, what is real helpful. At this moment, artificial intelligence for us is we view artificial intelligence could help a lot on deal sourcing and finding clients and supporting clients. This is the area will be very useful, and could reduce 80% of burden currently you handled by, back office and front office. But artificial intelligence also at this stage, haven't evolved into an area requires precision. I noticed one of your actually guests mentioned about, it will be challenging if you rely on, totally rely on artificial intelligence on certain areas, for example, like tax and those items. So I view, maybe future it can, but at this stage, we have to watch the technology very carefully and finding the good ones we can adopt today and adopt earlier. Because this, no matter what we say today, eventually will be destroyed. And maybe today it can't reach precision. Maybe it can only do 80% right. But it doesn't mean maybe give 20 years later, it will become, we can't leave. Our business can't leave with artificial intelligence. We have to prepare.
I love your answer because it personalizes what we have been hearing about artificial intelligence, which the underlying technology has been around for decades, as evidenced by you working on it in the 90s during your undergraduate work. And it takes sort of an inflection point of a combination of technologies to allow it to really hit business. And I think, Jenny, your advice is absolutely correct, because the acceleration of the technology, the maturity of the innovations are happening so rapidly in the AI field. It's wise for people to keep an eye on that and see how it can help their business. Thank you.
Thank you.
Let's talk about the future. Jenny, 5 years in, you launched in COVID, you benefited, but you also were set back by it. You now have a very clear investment thesis and portfolio. What's the future hold for you and your firm Beyond International?
Well, we are so excited. We were named by Incorporate 5000 as one of the Incorporate 5000 company, and we're growing fast, and looking forward. We think, first of all, private alternative investment is still a growing area, and a lot of technologies could be involved and apply to this area. AI is one, and I will be happy to mention blockchain is another one. And in the real estate industries, real estate investment industries, actually heavily relying on documents. And a small change in certain documents will causing a giant valuation, differences. So therefore, a common ledger system like blockchain is essential to keep the files on track and monitor everything going on. So we view our company 5 years later will be continue adopting latest technologies, innovate in the real estate investment, and attract more investors and coming into this area and generating more benefits beneficial to the companies, to the real estate companies needs money, and help them allocate the better usage of the investment.
Interesting that you bring up blockchain too. So I sense your technical education, your engineering training makes you comfortable with these innovations in technology, whether it be blockchain or AI, which who would have known, Jenny, when you were an undergrad, that you would be coming full circle and maybe using that knowledge at this time.
Yeah.
I've always said to my kids and now to my grandkids, learn everything you can at the time life presents it to you, because you never know when you're going to need that knowledge. And Jenny, I think you're a walking testament to that philosophy.
Exactly.
If someone would like to connect with you on LinkedIn, or maybe learn more about Beyond International, how do you say they do that, Jenny?
Well, you see the name on your screen, Huimin Jenny Zhan. Just type in, search on LinkedIn. I'm sure I'm the only one with this kind of name on LinkedIn. Find us, find Beyond International, connect with us, and I will be happy to, discuss the business opportunities and share a lot of knowledge. And we can chat from there.
I said at the top of the show, we had a good one planned for you today because Jenny was our guest. And Jenny, I want to thank you very much for your time today and sharing your story. I've really enjoyed it, and I think our audience did as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for your audience, and I enjoyed it.